Hello friends and welcome back to the channel for war number 7 of season 53. Today we have a matchup against CAV, very strong alliance. We face these guys usually every season or so now. Ironheart was once again banned, so we've got Viv Vision on the team along with Wiccan, and for the first time, Howard the Duck coming to war. Gonna try and do my best Nagase impression here. We only have one fight with the Duck. It's against this Killmonger here on Node 1, Path 1. Howard the Duck, by the way, just an incredible war attacker. Very versatile, very strong, very safe, and just has some great damage here. So at the start of the fight, we are doing heavies to armor break Killmonger that will shut off his reverb. Also building up our Furies by mashing during the parry stun, and this is going to ramp up our damage over the course of the fight. Now, I do throw a couple special ones here. In hindsight, I really shouldn't have needed to do that, or shouldn't have felt the need to do it, because we're getting such good uptime from the tactic heal block. The heal blocks from the special one are really not necessary in this fight, and I think we'd get more damage overall by going up to like a big special 2. So I think I fire off a couple special ones before I switch tactics and save up to my special 2. You're noticing, our damage is pretty good, although we're not getting any crits. That's just a Killmonger thing, right? He has massive crit resistance, so you're not going to get much crits. So the Furies in this fight are really going a long way towards getting him down quickly. I think when we fire off this special 2 here, not a single one of the hits crit. Yep, there we go. 5k per hit is still pretty good, but no crits is a little painful. And one more combo finishes him off. Very, very safe fight. Alright, next up we have my favorite champ Domino here on Node 10 with Masso Overtime and Vigorous Assault. Viv is a fantastic option for this fight and for Domino in general because she can get the tactic up without relying on debuffs, and she can get her openings without relying on baiting heavies or parrying as well. We did turn Resonate off for this fight because it will trigger the node and we really don't want it to, and in addition that will cause crit fail damage against Viv. Now in general, Viv will not trigger crit fail with Domino because her base ability accuracy is 125%. That was something that I actually fought for during her rebalance period, so that it would make her a bit more viable for Domino. Firing off the special 2 here. Only real concern in this fight is worrying about her evade when she's lucky. So even if we have the heal block and are in danger of losing it, you can see I'm waiting patiently for that lucky passive to wear off before I hit into her. If we hit into her and she evades and counters and crits, the crits will bypass all of Viv's armor, of course, and her health pool is pretty low, so just a couple of crits from Domino would probably kill me. So you have to play this pretty carefully here. Firing off our unblockable special 1, and that's Domino in the bin. See you later. Alright, moving on to section 2, we are once again on path 4B, and we have yet another null to contend with here on Node 22. Going to be using Wiccan for this fight. We took this fight early in the season, and now that my Wiccan is duped, I will not be using Carl again for this fight. Wiccan just makes it so easy, and it's pretty simple to keep your shield spell either paused or up for the entire fight. And Wiccan removes a lot of the other threats that Null has. You can safely bait out those special ones, because if you're corrupted, you don't have to worry about reverse controls. The armor breaks you're immune to, and they're going to trigger incinerates on Null. Firing off our special 2 there, because it will allow us to reset the flame spell potentially. And yeah, you can see he's just melting away completely here. We do lose a bit of combat power rate when corruption hits, but it's not really that problematic as long as we pay attention to our spells. And you can see me blocking during his specials just to add an extra stack of shield. And we are pretty safe to do that. I'm not really worried about health loss in this fight, and down he goes. Alright, next up we have a Dust on 31. This is actually going to be my first death of the season. If you ban Ironheart, you ban Deathstrike, this fight becomes pretty problematic, and even though Viv is a very good counter for it because she doesn't need to block to get openings, she is still punching up big time here against a rank 3 defender, and if one or two things go wrong in the fight, it can be over pretty quickly. So one of the things you're going to see me do with Viv in this and other fights is I'm only trying to trigger my phase against a medium dash attack from the defender, and that's because I've found over the past, 6 months or so, that if the defender light attacks into your phase, they are now fast enough to dex and or block your counterattack, and then you're left kind of like in the wind, without your phase and with still needing to get an opening here. So I'm only trying to phase for medium attacks. Now, given that this is a rank 3 defender, we are going to build up to our special 3 here, and that's going to give us the Fury buff, which is going to increase our damage for the rest of the fight. Now, coming out of the special 3, I see that my heal block is about to expire, and she has the power gain, so I'm going to kind of back off, wait until the power gain expires, because I don't want to be accidentally triggering a miss into her. Backing off, now we're safe to continue here. Going to power drain her with another phase and continue my attack. We have the Fury, so our damage is being increased here. Now, as you'll see, for like the first half of the fight, I've been in complete control. I'm managing the power stings well. I'm nailing every single phase here, just getting my openings with relative ease. But as I said a minute ago, when things go off the rails in this fight, they go off the rails very quickly. So what ends up happening here is I finish a combo and then I try and immediately dex because I don't want to phase one of her light attacks, as I talked about at the start of this fight. And Dust triggers Blexterity, so she hits into my dex, and that triggers a phase as I'm dexing back, so I lose my phase, and then I panic launch my special 2. Right here, I'm trying to dex back, she triggers a phase. She's not unblockable yet, which is a mistake that I make. I fail to recognize that I can safely still, parry her or bait out a heavy attack. Right there, I'm surprised that my parry lands because, again, I hadn't noticed that she wasn't unblockable yet. And I'm late on the punish. She punishes me, triggers Sandstorm, and that goes from a yellow bar to dead in roughly 10 seconds or so. So we roll back in, full heal up, and we don't really need to do the special 3 rotation in this fight because, again, she's already more than half dead, and we can easily get by with just a special 2 and some special 1. So yeah, a very frustrating death. I feel like if I had access to a rank 3 7-star Viv, that death probably could have been avoided because I wouldn't have need to extend the fight with the special 3 rotation. We could have finished the fight in just 3 bars of power rather than 5 or 6. And again, I've said this a bunch in other war videos. The longer a fight goes on, the more chances there are for mistakes or for things to go badly for you. So Kaban, please give us 7-star Viv Vision, as soon as possible. Maybe in the next Titan. That would be fantastic. Yeah, so we're just doing some cleanup here. As I said, cleanup goes perfectly fine. We do have one more Viv fight after this, so I don't want to just YOLO it with the power stings. And I think the special 2 ends up killing her outright. We don't even need the special ones. Moving on, last but not least, we have a rank 3 Man-Thing here on Node 38 with Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it. Really good matchup for Viv. Took this fight earlier in the season. This one goes a lot better. Did accidentally trigger a phase there with a Snap Light. That's kind of the thing I'm talking about with the AI these days. Kind of make up for my Dust death a little bit by having a nice, perfect Viv Vision fight. We're taking 0 damage in this one. So again, as I talked about with Dust, I'm only trying to bait out medium attacks from Man-Thing when I'm ready to use my phase. And this is doubly important against Man-Thing because not only can he dex or block out of a light attack into your phase, he can also light attack and then immediately attempt an unstoppable heavy attack. And if you try and counter into that, he's going to wallop you and you're going to take a whole bunch of damage. So again, given that we are punching up big time in this fight, special 3 rotation, very important. We are nullify immune, so none of his pustule buffs or anything can affect us. He cannot get rid of our Furies. He cannot armor break us, which is really nice here. So we're kind of waiting until we have about 2 bars of power, and then we're going to heavy out of a phase right here in order to put the Ebb and Flow node on cooldown, firing off a special 2 immediately after to get massive damage there. That does a nice chunk of his health. And then from here, I think what I do is I just use the first special 1 in my chain to put the Ebb and Flow knockdown node on cooldown rather than risk another heavy into a phase. Because again, if you phase and try and heavy, he can launch a heavy, unstoppable heavy into your phase, and again, you're going to get walloped. So you want to limit how many times you attempt a heavy out of your phase against him. We put the node on cooldown, baiting out this special 2, and then one more special 1 finishes him off. Oh, nope, just kidding. We need to do a striker and then a heavy attack out of that to finish him off. But otherwise, a very, very clean fight and a 0 damage Viv fight. I think I do end up showing the end of the fight here just because I'm pretty proud of that one. So that's going to do it for me this war. Unfortunately, we did not come away with the win. Big shout out to CAV. 5 kills for me, and again, my first and only death so far this season, and our record on the season falls to 4-2. We have some other tough matchups coming up. There's been a lot of discussion about the matchmaking this season because of that canceled war. Doesn't seem to have affected us at all. We're still getting, Masters Alliances every single war. So still as tough for us as if that canceled war had been on. So, folks, if you enjoyed this, please let me know by hitting that like button. As always, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.